Hi everybody, I'm going to do a quick video review of the monkeyWrenchRacing.com front trunk and rear engine bay gas struts for the MR2 Spyder. So this is again from monkeyWrenchRacing.com. These are very high quality. They are not exactly cheap. They're about $100 each for the complete set. That is $100 for the front trunk complete set or for the rear engine bay. But the trade-off is that you are getting purpose-built components in a very quick and easy to install set that are built exactly for these specifications. Although if you do want a DIY set, that can be had for $40 or less if you want to put a little more elbow grease into it. I did opt to go for the easier to install set, although there are some pitfalls for these, so I wanted to make a video to kind of help you guys out if you did opt to go this route with the monkeyWrenchRacing.com setup. So I'm going to start with the rear engine bay. First things first, so when you install these, I'm not going to do an install video. However, the instructions that come with these are not exactly great. So they include a QR code with the rear set and they provide a YouTube video that is not by them. It's by some guys that are installing these for a completely different car. It's actually a hood strut install. It is by them, but it's a hood strut install for a S2000. So it's not even the same car. It's not even the same part. And that car had a spacer. And these don't have that, but you can adjust the height a little bit by unscrewing this. You can do it a little bit, but you can only do that if you pop this out. Okay, so you put this in last. And the only word of caution I want to provide with this is that these rely on removing and then screwing back in the stock bolts, as you can see right here. And this one is not a stock bolt. I had to replace the stock bolt, and the reason for that is the stock bolts are quite brittle, being as old as these cars are. And when I unscrewed the stock bolt, and they provide a little canister of grease and a little applicator, and they tell you to apply grease to the stock bolt when you screw them back in. I would advise against using those because I think that lubricating any of these is kind of a bad idea, because you don't want these brackets to be rotating when you open or close this. Actually had to torque these down pretty hard to prevent that when you're opening and closing these hoods, front or rear, right? That puts some torque on these latches, and you don't want it rotating as it does that, right? You want the strut to stay in its channel. However, when I was first torquing down on this bolt, I was at the end of my socket wrench and I was trying to torque down on it, and being as brittle as that bolt was, the head of it snapped right off, and I had to drill it out of its hole. It was a drama. I was kicking myself. So after a couple days, I successfully drilled it out, and fortunately I was able to get a replacement bolt to get it to fine thread, and was able to get it in there. So my word of caution is when you're tightening your bolt in there, only put like 3 fingers pressure toward the head of your socket wrench, and just like 3 fingers tight toward the head of your socket. Get it about 3 fingers tight when you're tightening them in. But I wouldn't grease the bolt, because if you do, again, these brackets tend to kind of move and slide around. But 3 fingers tight now on these, they don't torque around. But I do lubricate the head of where these attach when you snap them in, and here at the gas strut, so that they don't make any noise. So that's a really nice upgrade. So the only other word of caution that I would provide you, the instructions are really not great when you go around to the front hood. So here, they do not provide any paperwork. Now, what was nice about the rear was they did provide a printout of the specific MR2 Spyder and exactly where to install. Here in the front, they did not provide any paperwork. They provided a QR code for a Google slide where you could view or download this image, and I printed it out, so there was no paperwork. This image doesn't make any sense at all. I didn't run into this issue at all. This might be model specific. I didn't run into this. Okay, this has something to do with this piece here, which is their bracket. Okay, so I didn't run into any problems with that. So I don't know what they're referring to. I didn't run into any issues with that. Okay, so they did not provide, which really bugs me, a zoomed out view of the completed car. So I had a little trouble placing this the lower screw. Where exactly is that? But let me walk you through it. So first of all, the first piece is not hard. So if you look at the hinge, it's just the hinge for where the hood is, again, the front trunk, and it's the top one. So you just unscrew that and you place your, so the directions when it says right is the driver's right, and you want the ball joint on the outside, so you place that. And then the next one, you have to lift up your cover, and you see the headlight, and it's the one right above it. Right above the headlight is this bracket, so you have to lift this up right above the bracket, and then you put your ball joint here. And so if it's this side, it'll say right, to the right of the driver's right, facing in. Okay, and again, 2 fingers tight, not at the end of your socket wrench, but close to the head of it, so you don't over tighten and snap the head off your socket. I didn't use the lube because I didn't want this moving again, but lubricated the ball joint, lubricated the gas strut, snapped it on, unscrewed a little bit at this point. So I'm using the hood prop to lift it up, but now I had to lift it up above the hood prop, unscrewed this a little bit to find the right angle, snapped it in place, and now the driver's right side, my left, but the driver's right, snapped this in place, and now that's holding the hood up. Now, something they don't tell you, because I thought, my mistake, my fault, but I thought, hey, I might want to retain the stock hood prop just in case these fail. I don't know why you'd want to, because it doesn't really hold it up high enough anyway, but I just thought kind of my fault, but hey, I might want it there in case, just as a backup. But you cannot retain it because, for one, when it's stored here, it's stored in the same channel that this needs to collapse into. So if you leave it there, which the instructions don't tell you, so the instructions from Monkey Wrench Racing are very poor. For one, no printout. It would have cost them very little just to have this included in the box, but they don't, right? So there's no zoomed out view. You have to kind of look at this and go, oh, like where is this? Like where again is that? You have to lift up your plastic. 2, 3. You close your hood, as I did. I closed my hood on it and saw, once you get this done, and it's sitting up very nicely, thinking, oh, maybe it'll just look nice there. Maybe if these wear out and I need this as a backup, but you cannot do that because I closed my hood on it and this was sticking way up, not even. And I thought, oh, duh, this is closing on the channel where the old stock hood prop is, and obviously it's causing this to bend and is lifting this up. So you cannot retain your stock hood prop, and you know, silly me, my fault. Lifted it up. You must just kind of pull it out, and the gasket is the only thing holding that in. So you have to just pull it out. You must remove your stock hood prop. You cannot retain that. So you're stuck with this, but that's fine. This is obviously superior. Last tip that they don't tell you, thank you Monkey Wrench Racing, but you must trim. If you want to retain your plastic cover, you must trim it, which I will show you. And this is an incomplete job. I still need to sand this down, but I took my little circular Dremel tool and trimmed just where there's that little notch, right? That little step. And I just trimmed it to take it out of the car, right? So take it out of the car completely, put it out on the lawn, and just trimmed it. And I know it's a sloppy job, but I'm gonna take my sander and sand it down so it's nice and smooth, but I just did a quick and dirty job. There's that little step in it. That's a good place to do it. Just trim it straight, right? I know it's not perfectly straight, but again, I'm gonna take my little sander and I'll sand it down smooth so it looks nice eventually, but trim it straight because the hood prop will get in the way of it. Not designed for that, as obviously. So if you want to retain this so it looks nice, you must trim it on both sides. So I'll just say, Monkey Wrench Racing, no thanks to you for providing crappy and inadequate instructions on your $100 kit for the front and rear. So I'd say it is a really nice set. They're really nice machined parts that are obviously going to last a long time, but the instructions are much to be desired. But once I did that, you know, as you can see, it looks good, but it just takes a little ingenuity. It was just, as you can see, at first I thought, is it like the headlight? Where does it go? And I was missing, these are pins. I have missing pins for these, but what bolt does it go to? This bolt. And it was covered by the plastic cover, and that was covering where this needed to be. So you must trim your plastic if you want to retain that. I know some of you just discarded this entirely. People have chosen, in this community, choose to do various different things. Some retain this, some don't. I chose to remove it. I like the rest of this, but for practical reasons, I removed the cover for this part, but I like the rest of it. But if you want to keep it, you got to trim it anyway. But overall, it's a really nice upgrade. But come on, Monkey Wrench, like, tell people these things. Tell them before if you close this hard, you might do permanent damage to the strut kit that you just spent $100 installing, and you might bend it because you just didn't tell people. You must remove the stock strut or bend your hood. It's just really kind of unforgivable. You got to tell people these things. You must remove that and trim your plastic, and obviously tuck it under the weather stripping right there. But anyway, okay, so you want the money shot, and it does. Look at that, perfect. So now it's nice and even on all sides. Looks really good, and the back closes really nice as well. So thanks for watching. Happy install, everybody. Have a good one.